It's funny how a meeting room can turn into a comedy club, especially when you're the punchline. There I was, surrounded by serious faces, ready to share my idea. I spoke, my words wrapped in an accent from far away. A chuckle started in the corner, then spread. The room filled with laughter, not with me, but at me. My idea, a solution to a problem they'd struggled with, hung in the air, ignored. My accent was the wrong suit for this corporate party. The laughter faded, replaced by awkward silence. Mr. Henderson, the boss, looked at me with pity, then moved on. My idea vanished, as if I'd spoken another language. I felt like a punchline, not a professional. The rest of the meeting blurred by as I replayed the moment in my head. Was it how I said, strategy, or implementation? It's like baking a delicious cake, only to have it rejected because of the oven you used. The idea was solid, but my voice was deemed unacceptable. As the meeting ended, people avoided my eyes. The message was clear: you don't belong here, your voice doesn't matter. This was my first big meeting at my dream job, and I was the joke. My name is Ayan. I'm an engineer who loves solving problems. Back home, my mind was my greatest asset. That's why I was hired by a top tech company in America. I walked into that glass building in New York ready to contribute, but here, there was an unwritten requirement: how you sound. My accent, the melody of my life, became a barrier. I was the guy with the accent, not Ayan the engineer. The office was a sea of sameness. My voice stood out. People asked me to repeat myself, even when I was clear. Their polite smiles hid confusion or dismissal. I felt like I was speaking through fog. I dove into work, hoping my skills would speak for me. Talent is a universal language, I told myself. I clung to that belief. My skills were all I had. I just needed a chance to prove it. My first big team meeting was my chance. I'd found a critical flaw in the Odyssey project, and a solution I called the Cascade Path. I practiced my pitch, then presented my findings. Confused looks, then smirks. Mark, a senior engineer, laughed. Cascade Path! Sounds like a water park. The room erupted in laughter. My idea was dismissed. Mr. Henderson smiled. Interesting, Ayan, but we'll stick with established protocols. No questions, no challenge, just dismissal. Minutes later, Mark described the same problem and pitched my solution, renamed the Sequential Flow Initiative. Delivered in his accent, it was praised as brilliant. I sat invisible, my idea stolen and applauded in another man's mouth. In this room, it didn't matter if you were right, only if you sounded right. The meeting moved on, leaving my voice behind. I learned a painful lesson. My words didn't count unless they came from the right voice. The humiliation stung. I watched as my work was repackaged and celebrated. I was left with silence. My confidence began to crack. I wondered if I'd ever be heard, but I wasn't ready to give up. After that, the laughter stopped, replaced by silence. My colleagues treated me like a ghost. Conversations ended when I approached. Emails went unanswered. I was excluded, not openly, but with quiet precision. My ideas were ignored, only to reappear later from someone else's mouth, usually Mark's. I became a ghostwriter for others' success. When I tried to speak up, I was met with annoyance, so I stayed silent. The loneliness was crushing. I sat at my desk, surrounded by people but completely alone. The dream of collaboration faded, replaced by frustration. I dreaded going to the office. The shiny building felt like a cage. I was a talented engineer with a voice, but no one wanted to listen. I wondered if I'd made a mistake coming here. Maybe the problem was me. Maybe if I changed how I spoke, things would be different. I looked up accent reduction coaches, practiced in front of the mirror, tried to sound like Mark. It felt like wearing a costume that didn't fit. Part of me argued it was just a tool, a way to survive. But another part rebelled. My accent was my identity, my history. To erase it felt like a betrayal. Was I willing to cut out a piece of my soul just to fit in? In the end, I made a choice. I closed the browser tab. I looked in the mirror and spoke in my own voice. If my talent wasn't enough, this wasn't the right place for me. I would stand by my work and speak as myself. I chose to be me, even if it meant standing alone. 2 months later, disaster struck. The system crashed, just as I'd warned. The sequential flow initiative, Mark's version of my idea, had failed. Panic erupted. The team was stumped. Mr. Henderson called everyone in. "We may have to start over," he said. I spoke up. "There is a way." All eyes turned to me. No laughter now, just desperation. I explained how we could use the cascade path to recover the data. I drew the architecture on the whiteboard, step by step. Mr. Henderson asked, "Can you do this?" "Yes," I said, "but I need a team, and everyone to listen." "You've got it," he replied. "Mark, you report to Ion." For 18 hours, I led the team. I gave orders, delegated, wrote code. For the first time, everyone listened. We worked through the night, rebuilding the system. Slowly, we brought Project Odyssey back from the dead. The project was saved. Exhausted, I felt a pride I hadn't felt in months. My voice had finally been heard. I had led the comeback. The team saw what I could do. Everything was about to change. The next morning, the system was stable. The crisis was over. Mr. Henderson called an all-hands meeting. "We almost lost everything," he said, "but one person saved this project." He looked at me. Ion identified the problem months ago. He presented a solution. I dismissed him, not for his idea, but because I listened to his accent, not his analysis. The room was silent. Mark stared at the floor. Ion's cascade path was the key. He led the team that fixed our mess. From now on, when Ion speaks, everyone listens. He started to clap. The whole room joined in. It wasn't laughter, it was respect. After that, everything changed. My emails were answered. People greeted me at the coffee machine. Mark apologized. "Your idea was brilliant." "I'm sorry." My accent hadn't changed. I was still Ion. But now, they saw the engineer, the problem solver. My voice was no longer a barrier. I learned, talent has no accent. Respect comes from what you deliver, not how you sound. My success came from staying true to myself, letting my work speak. We put people in boxes, accent, skin color, gender, but inside every box is a human with ideas and a story. It's time to stop judging the packaging and see the person inside. Drop the labels, see the human behind the voice. Because a good idea can come from anywhere, in any accent. My journey wasn't about changing who I was. It was about being heard, and finally, respected. That's the sound I'll never forget. The sound of respect.